What you're looking at is the acorn that drops for Raleigh first night every New Year's Eve at 12 o'clock. This acorn drop, kind of like the New York thing. This acorn drops, and thousands of people is on this one street here in Raleigh downtown called Fayetteville Street, and you wake up the next day and it's a new year, it's a new day, and people come up with New Year's resolutions, and just like most of us, like by the time February or March comes, you're no longer following your resolutions. But I have a resolution that I feel like everyone should at least try if you haven't already, and that is getting saved, giving your life to Jesus Christ and following Jesus Christ. 6 years ago, I was right here downtown Raleigh, feeling hopeless, feeling bummed out, mad at the world. This was my life, catching the city bus, going to work or going to school, um, GED classes and stuff. And I was a high school dropout, hanging out with gang members in South Raleigh, wanted to be a blood, watch them like jump people and stuff like that. And I thought that was life. All I cared about was money, stacking money and girls, chasing girls. Um, barely, barely like talked to my own family members. I was a real internal type person, emotional gangster is what I would call it myself. That was like one of my rap names, like emotional gangster. And like, I was real emotional, man. I get mad about things. I snap easily, like two fingers. And I walk by church after church. It's a church on every corner, not just here in Raleigh, but in the country, in the big cities, in the small towns. It's like a church on every corner. And here in South Raleigh, to get to one of the cat bus stops that I always go to, you have to walk by like three different churches. And even on the cat bus, you riding past churches. And when I get off the bus to go to work, I'm walking past churches, and no church ever reached out to me. And I don't blame them for that. But there was one church that did, and it's called the Potter's House Christian Fellowship Church. And I was working at Target, and this Christian family would come in there shopping, and I finally talked to them and introduced myself and asked if they needed help finding something. And the mom, she witnessed to me and told me that I need Jesus to get to heaven. And I'm like, man, years went by and like no one ever told me that I needed Jesus to get to heaven. 'Cause here I was thinking I was a good person. My New Year's resolutions every year is like things that'll make me a good person, and clean up my MySpace. Back then it was MySpace. Clean up my Black Planet and just be a good person, not hang out with the wrong crowd, and lose weight, all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking I'm a good person. If I die, I'll go to heaven. I don't do anything bad, but this Christian family told me the gospel, and they told me about Jesus Christ and how he's the only way to heaven. And I blew them off for a while, told them I was saved, I lied to them, told them I already go to church and stuff. And a month went by, and I'm still broken on the inside. I'm still searching for that inner peace, searching for something to fulfill my life. Sex before marriage is like instant gratification, and it don't fill the void inside your heart. And I was caught up in fornication. I was caught up in, like I said, stacking money and hip hop, trying to be a rapper, and lying and stealing. And I was a thief. I was desperate for change, and I didn't know where to find it. And I want to let you know, the moment I did decide to go to church, it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I went to church that Sunday, and the pastor's sermon, it sounded like it was for me. And he did this thing we call altar calls, and I responded. I went up to the altar, and I didn't just say some silly little sinner's prayer, but I prayed with faith, and I gave my life to Jesus Christ. I bowed my knee at the altar, and I want to let you know it was the best decision I ever made. And that was six and a half years ago, going on 7. And to this day, it's the best decision I ever made. I followed Jesus Christ. I made mistakes. I even backslid, but I want to let you know, like, when you hold on to Jesus Christ and you follow Jesus Christ and his teachings, he is the way, the truth, and the life. If he could change me, he could change you.